welcome to SuperScreen News at 6, broadcasting to you live from Lagos. I am Adinke Owoye Ajiboye. President Muhammadu Buhari has met with the leadership of both the Senate and the House of Representatives, striking a deal on how both arms of government will work in synergy to see to the quick and possible passage of the 2018 budget for the overall interest of Nigerians. Senate President Bukola Saraki and Speaker Yakubu Dogara met with the President at the Presidential Villa to deliberate on the thorny aspects of the budget. You will recall that the budget, which was presented to the National Assembly on November 7, 2017, with the hope that the lawmakers would promptly pass the document and enable a January to December financial calendar, has been delayed as the 8.6 trillion naira budget has been stuck in the National Assembly. The Court of Appeal in Abuja has dismissed an appeal by Senator Dino Melaye against a judgment of the Federal High Court confirming the power of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to commence a recall process without first referring to him. In a judgment, a three-man panel of the appeal court held that the Federal High Court lacked the jurisdiction to have heard Melaye's suit querying the recall process by INEC. Shortly after INEC released its order of procedure for Melaye's recall process late last year, Justice John Soho of the Federal High Court granted an ex parte order in favor of Melaye, stopping INEC from carrying through the process. Justice Nnamdi Dingba, who determined the fundamental rights suit by Melaye, in which he claimed to have been denied fair hearing, said that INEC could conduct the recall process without hearing from Melaye. Senior lawyer Femi Fallon has faulted the upper chamber of the National Assembly on the move to override the president's veto on the bill which seeks to reorder the sequence of elections. Fallon, in an exclusive chat with SuperScreen, maintained that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has all legal rights to decide how the election timetable should go.
But 4 provisions of the Constitution have empowered the INEC to appoint days for holding the election, governorship, legislative and presidential elections. But by an amendment carried out in 2010, the National Assembly erroneously amended those 4 provisions by adding the phrase subject to the Electoral Act. In the first place, which Electoral Act are you talking about? The Electoral Act that was in place then was the 2010 Electoral Act, assuming without considering that we are now dealing with the new proposed Electoral Act. You cannot use an act of parliament to override or amend the Constitution. It's the other way around. All laws shall be read subject to the Constitution and not the other way around. In other words, since the Constitution has conferred the power exclusively on the INEC to appoint days for holding the elections, to organize the election, to conduct the election, and supervise the election, no other body in Nigeria can usurp those powers by arranging the days for the election in what they call sequence of elections.
On the legal advice given to the Senate to ignore President Muhammadu Buhari's position and the move by the lawmakers to override the president's veto in the bill, Fallon explains the process involved and equally gave his advice.
The Constitution allows the National Assembly to override the veto of the president. But in each given situation, the legislators will be required to examine the reasons for rejection, the reasons for declining assent by the president. If the reasons are persuasive and convincing and cogent, the legislators will be inviting unnecessary litigation if they go ahead to use their numerical strength. I will advise the National Assembly members to consider the reply of the president without any sentiment, and also seek sound legal advice with a view to appreciating the need to comply with the Constitution.
Well, senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Fallon, reacting there. Report says 20 out of the 27 Imo State lawmakers have endorsed Governor Rochas Okorocha's son-in-law, Uche Nwosu, for the 2019 gubernatorial election in the state. Lawmaker representing Akutan local government, Harry Ezediaro, who disclosed this to journalists in Owerri, said the lawmakers took the decision at the official lodge of the Imo State's House. Ezediaro claimed that the lawmakers also consulted with their constituents before taking the decision. Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa has raised an alarm that 3 communities in Uweru Ugele North local government area have been occupied by the ravaging herdsmen, charging security agencies to curb their nefarious activities in the state before it results to crisis. Governor Okowa discussed this while speaking with the Assistant Inspector General of Police, ARG, in charge of Zone 5, Rashid Akintunde. Okowa said the President General of the community spoke on the fact that the farmers are told to pay the herdsmen before they can enter their farms, which is very strange and disturbing. He also stated the concern of his administration about the security of life and property of every Deltan and the communities. The federal government is set to deploy the National Agency for Food, Drugs and Administrative Control, NAFDAC, and the National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, to all the nation's airports, seaports, land ports to assist other border agencies in chemical anti-smuggling enforcement. The government will also introduce chemical security and safety courses into the curriculum of secondary schools, tertiary and training institutions of relevant ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs in Nigeria. The course will be introduced through the Federal Ministry of Education, FME, the National Universities Commission, NUC, National Board for Technical Education, NBTE, among others. Nigerian women have been challenged on the need to participate in politics. This challenge was given at the Oduduwa Women's Council Forum, organized to celebrate the 2018 International Women's Day. The report. Still basking in the euphoria of the 2018 International Women's Day, this group of women under the aegis of Oduduwa Women Council enlightened women on the importance of participating in politics.
Priority in addressing gender inequality, gender equity, gender disparity is once you educate a child, get child, it lays economic arrangement. The driver of wealth creation is essentially cerebral.
As women, we are more spiritual, we are more committed. Men are committed. I'm saying our men are not committed. But you know, a mother would have a kind of feeling. It pictures a mother when the child is crying. So that is the spirit a woman would apply if she's in a leadership position. So that is why we need to encourage more women to participate and partake in politics. If we identify a lady that has potentials, let us invest in them, push, stop backbiting, unite our force to push our other women forward. Then we will get there.
While some participants shed light on the advantages of a woman being relevant in politics, President of the group, who is also a former Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development in Lagos State, Simi Akindele Odumbaku, speaks on the rationale behind the theme Press for Progress, Women Inclusion in Leadership, Decision-Making and Political Participation.
There is very, very low level of inclusion of women in governance, even in leadership. Being an International Women's Day period, you know, March is our month, I decided that it was important that we should press for progress and progress in women inclusion, leadership and political participation. We're here, advocacy, not just to celebrate, but to inform our women that they need to come out. They need to be a part of it. They need to get involved. The time is now. Nobody's going to come call you in your house to come out and play politics. Nobody's going to say that you should be relevant in your community. You have to make yourself relevant. You have to make yourself known. You have to make yourself seen. You must make yourself counted.
The Oduduwa Women Council was set up to reawaken the consciousness of the Yoruba women to take their rightful place amongst other Nigerian women and the world at large. Now, a lawmaker representing Bauchi South Senatorial District, Ali Wakili, is dead. Report says the lawmaker slumped this morning at his Gwarimpa, Abuja residence, after which he was taken to a hospital within the estate, but died before getting emergency treatment. Wakili was the chairman of Senate Committee on Poverty Alleviation. He was also a member of the ruling All Progressives Congress. You're still watching SuperScreen News at 6. We'll take a short break here for some messages, after which we bring you a business news and agribusiness. Stay with us. Well, it's so glad to have you back now in business news. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has revealed that Nigeria's economy has attracted a total foreign exchange inflow of $30.45 billion between October and December 2017. Figures obtained from the amount are contained in the CBN Economic Report for the fourth quarter of 2017, a copy of which was obtained by a journalist in Abuja. The foreign exchange inflow of $30.45 billion is an increase of 14.5% over what was recorded in the third quarter of 2017. The Apex Bank attributed the increase in foreign exchange inflow to 22.7% and 7.7% rise in inflow through the CBN and autonomous sources. The Zonal Director, National Housing Program, North Central Zone, Valentine Iwaimo, says the federal government has embarked on the construction of no fewer than 532 housing units in 6 states in the zone and the Federal Capital Territory. Iwaimo disclosed this to journalists in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, during an inspection of the housing units at Osin Aremu, Aliara community, the Ilorin West local government area. Explained that the housing units under the National Housing Project were in average of 76 units for Kwara, Benue, Nasarawa, Plateau, Kwara, and Kogi State, adding that those for the FCT were high-rising buildings. He also stated that indigenous professionals were very competent and expressed satisfaction with the quality of work on the sites. Time now for our Greek business.